There's something historians don't like to talk about. Empires don't fall because they're weak. They fall because they're successful. The stronger they become, the more they expand. The more they expand, the more they have to defend. The more they defend, the more money they spend. The more money they spend, the more they have to borrow. The more they borrow, the more they debase their currency. The more they debase their currency, the more their own people abandon them. And then, one day, it's over. It's mathematics, and we've watched this exact equation play out 4 times in the last 500 years. 3 times, empires died. Once, we're watching it happen right now. Every major empire started with the same advantage. They were better organized than their neighbors. This organizational advantage made them win wars. When you win wars, you expand. Expansion creates wealth. Wealth creates confidence. Confidence creates the belief that expansion will continue forever. And so it does, until it can't. In 1492, Spain discovered America and became the world's first superpower. They found gold and silver, so much that they literally changed how the world understood money. By 1550, Spanish silver was the currency of international trade. Spain had become the world's central bank, but military bases appeared everywhere: Mediterranean, Europe, Americas, Pacific. By 1580, Spain's military spending consumed half their revenue. They needed to defend more than their money could cover, so they debased the currency, mixed copper into silver coins. Merchants immediately refused them. Inflation exploded. Spain entered a debt spiral. They borrowed constantly. Declared bankruptcy in 1557, 1560, 1575, 1596, 4 times in 40 years. Lenders kept lending because they believed Spain was too big to fail. They were wrong. By 1620, Spain's productive capacity had collapsed. No manufacturing, no agriculture, just military spending and imports. When the silver mines depleted, the entire system collapsed. By 1650, the Spanish Empire was gone. Spain went from richest empire on earth to irrelevant in 108 years. 300 years later, Britain made the exact same calculations. By 1900, Britain controlled a quarter of the planet. The pound sterling was the world's currency, but they felt threatened, so they increased military spending. By 1914, World War I started. Britain chose to spend everything to win. World War I cost $1 trillion in modern money. By 1918, Britain was broke. They owed America billions. For the first time in centuries, Britain wasn't the lender. They were the borrower. Then World War II started. Another $1 trillion in costs. By 1945, Britain owed more than their entire GDP. The war was won. The empire was finished. Britain tried to maintain the illusion of strength. They went back on the gold standard in 1925, even without the gold to back it. The market punished them. By 1931, the pound lost 25% of its value overnight. The world's reserve currency admitted it couldn't keep its promises. India demanded independence. Britain was too weak to refuse. Over the next 20 years, the rest dissolved. Africa, Middle East, Asia, everything. Britain took 50 years to go from global superpower to mid-tier country. The equation was identical: military overextension, currency debasement, debt spiral, productive collapse, loss of power. After World War II, the Soviet Union emerged as a superpower. Nuclear weapons, control over half of Europe. They competed with America for 45 years, but the Soviet economy was dying the entire time. The Soviet Union spent 15 to 20% of GDP on military, triple what America spent. They had to match American power with a fraction of America's economy. They were in Afghanistan, Cuba, Syria, Vietnam, North Korea, Angola, Ethiopia. The military-industrial complex consumed everything. By the 1980s, the system was failing. Oil prices collapsed, gold reserves depleted, the ruble was worthless. By 1985, Soviet leaders believed they were still a superpower. In 1989, the Berlin Wall fell. In 1991, the Soviet Union ceased to exist. 900 days from visible cracks to total dissolution. Here's what matters: Spain took 100 years. Britain took 50 years. The Soviet Union took 6 years. The pattern is accelerating. Now America has followed the equation more precisely than any empire before it. Military overextension, 750 military bases in 80 countries, troops in 150 nations, $997 billion military budget, more than the next 12 countries combined. America can't respond to simultaneous threats in multiple regions. America is overextended. Currency debasement. In 1971, Nixon ended the gold standard. The dollar became pure fiat. Money supply increased 400%. The dollar lost 98% of its purchasing power. Debt spiral. America owes $36 trillion. Interest payments approach $1 trillion annually, 19% of all federal revenue. We're borrowing to pay interest on previous borrowing. Productive collapse. America manufactures 10% of global goods, down from 60% in 1950. We import $800 billion more per year than we export, dependent on foreign supply chains for everything. Loss of productive citizens. Best minds are leaving. Drug addiction kills 100,000 Americans annually. Homelessness is everywhere. Crime is rising. The social fabric is collapsing. Loss of allies. In 2000, 65% of global currency reserves were dollars. Today, 59% and falling. Central banks are buying gold. China and Russia trade in their own currencies. Saudi Arabia accepts yuan for oil. The dollar is being abandoned. The equation is complete. We're at the stage where Britain was in 1945, or Spain was in 1620, or the Soviet Union was in 1985. You cannot spend beyond your means forever. That's mathematics. You cannot maintain empire without productive capacity. You cannot debase your currency without consequences. The sequence is locked in. Spain had 80 years. Britain had 40 years. The Soviet Union had 6 years. The pattern is accelerating. If the acceleration continues, America doesn't have decades. When the reserve currency fails, when the debt becomes impossible, when the military can't be funded, it collapses. Suddenly, brutally, like the Soviet Union in 1991. The pattern isn't mysterious. It's predictable. History has written the same script 3 times. We're reading it again, right now. The only question is, are you paying attention?